Hi guys, so this is a very interesting video and something slightly different from what I've done so far, because I'm gonna be talking about some personal experiences I've had being in the UK, especially in regards to English and English language. And shout out to my high school English teacher for making me confident enough to talk about this. Mr. Meyer, if you're watching, thank you for the support, even watching this video as much as you did in class. And I just feel that people in the UK are very, I want to say rude. Especially people in London. Like, I don't want to be too mean, because then that just makes me one of them. But I do think people are quite, especially about my accent, because I know I speak in a way that's kind of mixed up, and that's due to my international schooling and my growing up in different places. Like, I was in India for a majority of my life, so till I was about 15 years old, and in Mumbai especially. And I went to an international school all my life. Everyone spoke more or less the same way in that Mumbai English, as you know, we all know it. And then when I was in high school, I went to Switzerland for about, 2 years or so, and I studied there at an international school. And since about 3-4 years, I have been in London, and I've been studying at a university here for the past 3-4 years, which explains my mixed up accent and the way I speak. And I'm actually very comfortable with it. Like, if someone were to nitpick on my accent, I would be very okay with talking to them about it, because I think I speak fine and I like how I sound and everything. But where do I begin? People here, okay, with languages. You know how I look brown, right? So or how I am Indian. People over here see that and expect me to speak like Baljeet from Phineas and Ferb. Hello, my name is Ananya. I'm from India. Do you want some chai? Like, no, bro. Like, I don't speak like that. I don't know how to put this in words. Like, I did not speak like that. Like, don't tell me how good my English is for being an Indian. Please, do not tell me. I know it's really good. And especially when people tell me, oh, you speak such good English for being Indian, and I'm just astonished. Like, do you know 30% of India can speak English to some degree at least? And I'm just astonished, because most of the education system, every single place I have studied in has been in English. My first language at school has always been English. So how dare you assume that I'm gonna sound like something else? And secondly, even if I did sound like Baljeet from Phineas and Ferb, you do know that is also its own variety of English. You can't go around bullying people for the way they sound, because I in fact think they sound great. Like, I love when people say water. Like, or I love when people keep their authentic accent, because it's so nice. If everyone else in the world can do it, if Spanish people do it and they're hot or exotic, why can't we be as well? And I understand certain things are really funny, like, oh, I'm under the water, you're too much raining. Like, I get the memes and the vines. Like, I'm totally, like, it is hilarious. However, you need to respect the fact that Indian English is its own variety of English. It is right to speak like that. It is right for someone to be like, oh, I have a shoe bite, which, for those of you who don't know, is when you get a new shoe and you get like a blister or something because of it, especially at the back of your ankles, you call it a shoe bite. So that is absolutely right for someone to say. It's not like funny English or something. It is its own variety of English. And to be honest with you, the whole accent thing really bothered me when I was younger, because people always nitpicked on how I spoke. And now I just think about it, And now I'm comfortable with the fact that with different people, your accent changes. If I'm speaking to my parents, and if I'm speaking to my parents, I speak English a lot differently than I would speak to a white person. And that is also because I do know that if I speak English a little bit more Indian accented, or the way I actually speak, the white person will not take me as seriously. Unfortunately, that is the truth. And like I'll tell you an experience. I'll tell you some experiences that I've had in the work culture. Maybe these are also like microaggressions. If not, like you'd expect London to be a little bit more open because it's so like cosmopolitan, etc. But like etc. Sorry, but you'd expect it to be a lot like nicer and people to be a bit more understanding about it. And it's just this like facade that people put on, that they're very open and accepting. But as soon as you speak to them, you see these tiny microaggressions. Like for example, when I worked at a cafe over here for a bit, I remember someone like saying an order to me, and he was really quiet and he mumbled the order like, you know. And not gonna lie, love the British accent. However, sometimes you guys sound like you're speaking inside your mouth and not outside, and you're like blah, 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 and which is Gucci. I'm cool with it as long as we're on the same page and communicating about it, because like I understand sometimes you can't understand me, and I'm happy repeating myself without being rude. So you should do the same. Anyway, don't care. I was basically at the cafe and this guy ordered something, went like, oh my god. So I said, pardon me? And so he goes, Coca-Cola. And I said, okay, I got you. And as if, you know, I was dumb. All because I did not catch him at first glance. He thought I was dumb or ridiculous. And I don't want to say racism, but these are certainly microaggressions or ignorance of some sort. Like, I think if I looked different and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch you, or pardon me, he would have spoken to me differently, because this happened to me a lot. Actually, segueing from this, I also do want to talk about microaggressions in general in the UK that I've experienced, especially in the work culture. It's just that people feel like they can, especially seeing me. Now, I am a brown 5'4" girl. Okay, I see what I look like and how I present myself. And I don't know why, especially white people of authority feel as if they have this sort of power over you. They expect us brown girls to be like, yes sir, yes sir, yes miss, like, oh yes, I'll do whatever, like, you know, yes of course, like, oh yeah, tell me, like, you know, I need to put in extra hours, yes I'll do it, like, you know, they expect you to be stepped on and ready for it. And I'm honestly just not here for it. Like, for example, again, this cafe job really taught me so much on like to not take other people's shit, because I had this supervisor. I was just like what's it called, the barista type of thing, and I had a supervisor who was this white Romanian lady. And like, by the way, no hate to anyone, like I have no shade, like I learned a lot from every single job of mine. But I have this white Romanian lady who was like, of course, like bigger, taller type of thing. And I'm just giving this for context, okay? Not that it mattered to me, but it definitely does play a role, even though most people wouldn't care to admit it. She basically came up to me and to ask me, what's your name? I said, Ananya. It's like, oh, I can't say that. I said, okay, all right. I don't really care, bro. I am there to make some money and leave. Like, don't give a fuck. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. Don't give a shit. But anyway, so this Romanian lady, she says, oh yeah, I remember now. So she goes, yeah, oh, sorry, I can't say that. I said, okay. And then she asked me again, like throughout the day, oh, what's your name? Oh, and I can't. She didn't even try to pronounce it. She just said, I cannot say your name. I said, all right, okay. And then later on, she even tried to say it, and she's like, nope, it's just too hard for me. And I was like, all right, like, like I said, I don't care that much. And then suddenly she goes like, you know what, I'm just gonna start calling you Indian girl. And I said, that's not very 2023 of you over there. And I was just really confused, like, how can someone call me that? How can you be like Indian girl to me? And I was just super confused that that actually happened, and I had that interaction in London, in like the dead center of London, in a cafe. And I was just like, okay, I said, please do not call me Indian girl, I have a name, you know, Ananya. And she's like, oh, it's just so hard for me, like completely changed it and try to like overcompensate in some way or the other, like, oh, like I didn't mean to do that, like, you know, that kind of thing. And she totally did mean to do it. And also she was very like authoritative, like she liked to show her power, so she very much went like Indian girl, and she literally called me like that. And I'm just there like with the coffee going like, what am I doing here? Oh my god. So that sort of thing happens here. Or even like at another workplace, I just felt like, especially, I'm gonna say this, and I'm really, really sorry if I offend someone, but actually I'm really not. But if you're mean and doing these microaggressions without realizing them, I really hope this video opens your eyes and you see and you think twice about what you say to people. Because even though you must have some image of us in your mind, this is what happens, and we see it clearly. Like, for example, this girl at work was like, oh, can you do this for me? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll help you out. And then secondly, the second time, she didn't even need my help. She was more like, oh, do this for me. And I said, no, you can do that yourself, I'm sorry. Like, what do you need help for? There's no rush right now to do it. What do I have to do with it? I'm assigned something else, I'm gonna go do that. I'm not doing your work for you. I only get paid to do my work. Anyway, but this video has had many tangents, but as do all of my videos, and I hope you guys have been liking them so far. I just feel like being a brown girl in the work culture in London, especially, you do see a little bit of microaggressions, as much as you care to admit it. Like, I can only say from my part, but I've also spoken to other people of color and they do experience it as well. Of course, like, it's so obvious. As soon as you're slightly different from the common Londoner, you are seen as like, okay, we're gonna talk to you slightly different. And I hate to break it to you, but that is the case even today. And you know, and I've especially noticed this about the way I speak, you know, and I don't know why people always need to like break it down so much. Like, why do you care so much? Just mind your own goddamn business and let's just work together. Anyway, but that was my kind of rants for today about microaggressions and speaking English and that kind of thing. I hope the video made sense, and I will see you soon in the next video. At the end of the day, even if it didn't, at least I'm pretty. All right, see you soon.